Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and before we jump into today's video, I just want to quickly address the elephant in the room, which is that I have gone brunette. A lot of you guys have never seen me with brown hair before. I used to kind of switch it up every year or so. I would kind of go darker in the fall and blonde in the spring and summer, but the last several years I haven't been doing that, and I've only been here on YouTube since 2018, so only a couple years now, and I've been blonde that entire time. So I just figured it was time for a switch. My hair was kind of starting to break off and get really unhealthy from all of the bleaching. So sometimes I just like to give my hair a break and go brown for a little while. And I'm actually using the Moroccan Oil Color Depositing Mask. This is a temporary hair color, but on me, it's likely not going to be super temporary because when you have blonde hair, it gets very porous and it tends to like soak up a lot of that color. So we'll see how this one holds up. But I think the color is really nice. It actually said not to use this cocoa shade on blonde hair, but it seemed to work out okay for me. So, you know, if you do have blonde hair and you want maybe more of like a less chemical alternative, this might be a good option for you because it is just kind of like a color depositing conditioner. The only thing I will say though is that because this isn't permanent hair color, it doesn't cover gray. So just wanted to put that out there, but I do like just having a little bit of change every now and then. So anyway, let's jump into today's video, which is my top 10 fall palettes. I actually did this video last year on this exact same date. I looked it up and it was September 22nd. So kind of funny. I've also seen this video going around on YouTube the last couple of weeks from some of my other favorite people that I watch. So I figured I'd do an updated version since last year's video is a little bit outdated now. So let's go ahead and jump right in. These are in no particular order at all. So I love each and every one of them for their own unique reasons. So let's start out with number one. This is the one I'm actually wearing on my eyes today. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette. And honestly, I was kind of between this one and Modern Renaissance because that's another one that I feel like has really beautiful fall colors. But the thing about Modern Renaissance that I don't particularly like are the red shades that are in there because I don't normally like to wear red shades on my eyes. This one does have one reddish shade, which I really don't use all that often, but it also has purples and warm orangey browns, and it has gold and bronze and deep gray and that really stunning green duochrome, which I'm wearing on my eyes. Not to mention the fact that the formula is fantastic and you just have so much variety in here to create a lot of different types of looks with it. And that's the one thing I'm really big on, is having a lot of variety in a palette. I don't always like monochromatic color stories because I feel like if I'm investing money in a palette, I don't want to just create one or two looks with it. So I think this one is beautiful for fall with all those really deep, warm, and rich colors. Next up, we have the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, BH Cosmetics palette of all time. Not only is the formula so amazing and just as good as high-end in my opinion, but the color story is really pretty, and I think it's perfect for fall because you have like a nice mix of those warm tones, but you also have some gorgeous smoky cool tones in there. And you know, you have the rich warm browns and golds, but then you also have the cooler purples, blues, and grays. So for me, it's great for making those smokier, deeper eye looks that I generally go for more in the fall time. Next up, we have the ColourPop California Love palette. So this one came out in the summertime. I think it was last summer, but I actually think it's the perfect fall palette. It has those really warm and toasty vibes without having those darker red shades again. And it's something that I really love about it. You have a beautiful selection of gold and bronze and copper, tangerine, you have yellowy peach, and really rich warm browns. And despite it being an all warm palette, you also have a nice variety of shades in here at the same time. And I think you can make really casual looks with this all the way to deep and smoky at the same time. So this is another great option. It also has an awesome formula. And then at number 4, we have the Ace Beauté Classical Paradise palette. So this one made my list last year and it's here again this year because I mean, it is just gorgeous. Looking at it makes me think of the leaves changing here in New England. You have all the colors represented with the mustardy yellow, the green, gold, copper. You even have this gorgeous pewter gray. The formula of this palette is wonderful. If you haven't tried Ace Beauté's eyeshadow, I think they are definitely worth checking out. I think you'll love it. Next up, we have the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. Last year I mentioned the gingerbread one in my video, and I also really love the gingerbread extra spicy, but those two are not available anymore, so I didn't necessarily want to bring them up again and have you guys not be able to purchase them if you want them, but they are definitely favorites of mine, and this year's version did not disappoint me at all. I have a review that I did a couple weeks ago, so I'll link that above in case you want to see it, but what I love about this palette again is just the variety that you get in here. You have warm tones like peach and yellow and orange, you have chocolate brown, but then you also have these gorgeous cooler tones like pinks and purples and greens, and I would say this is one of the more versatile palettes in my collection because I just feel like there's so many different looks and combinations that you can make with it, so definitely an amazing one to check out. All right, so next up at number 6, we have the Carity Picante palette. So I honestly don't hear that many people talking about Carity, but I think they have such a good formula and their palettes are beautiful. So this is one of my favorites because it's a fairly large palette. It has 21 shades and you get these beautiful golds and bronzes and oranges and coppers, but you also have some really pretty purple and rosy tones, and I think they just play off of those warmer colors so beautifully. I love that combination that you get, and not to mention their formula is very high-end quality. This is like kind of a mid-range priced palette at about $29, but it's very high-end feeling, and it just has these soft velvety mattes with really rich pigmented buttery shimmer shades. So these are definitely worth checking out if you haven't tried Carity before. I got mine at CVS. I'm not sure if they're in all CVS stores, but I did happen to find all of their palettes in my local store and I just fell in love. I ended up going back and getting a few more, so definitely worth checking out. All right, so at number 7 we have the LA Girl Break Free palette. This one's actually pretty new. It was released a few weeks back now, but I've been reaching for it a lot lately because it has those really warm, cozy tones that always make me think of fall, and the cooler weather has definitely been here in Connecticut the past couple of weeks, so these are just the colors that I'm kind of naturally gravitating towards, and I love that this one is warm without being too dark, very similar to the California Love palette from ColourPop, and I just love the formula of these LA Girl palettes. They honestly can't be beat at the drugstore. They're so good. They're ultra pigmented and easy to work with, so honestly, what more can you ask for? It's super affordable, so if you haven't tried LA Girl's formula yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. These are available, I believe, now on the Ulta website. Next up, we have another ColourPop palette, and to be honest with you, I wanted to include Good Sport in this video, which I did last year, but last year that palette was still around. This year it is no longer available, which I'm super bummed about. This would be my second choice after Good Sport. This is an amazing palette because it has more of like a rosy toned vibe. It has mauves and shimmery rose and deep raspberry shades, but it also has a few warmer tones mixed in as well, like oranges and browns. So I really like with this one that you could mix things up, or you could do like an all warm look or something a little bit more rosy. And it's just been a favorite of mine now for quite a few years. So I love that ColourPop is still offering this. I just wish they would bring back Good Sport. That would be amazing. All right, so then at number 9, we have Urban Decay's Naked Honey palette. This was also in last year's list as well, and this is still one of my favorite palettes even a year later. I think it's a little bit more of a unique color story for my collection. It has these yellowy browns and kind of a hint of green. It's really beautiful. It's warm tone, but it's not in that orangey toasty kind of way. It's a little bit different. It's more subtle, which I really love for those more like casual makeup days, and I think the formula is also wonderful. Everything is so smooth and easy to work with on the eyes, even for somebody like me who isn't great at blending. So I just love this one. I've seen a lot of other people mention it in their fall videos as well. It's just really good. All right, and then at number 10, we have the Nabla Poison Garden palette. This is another one I hardly hear anybody talking about ever, but it is such a gorgeous palette. It has like kind of a big variety of shades, again, similar to the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice. You have these really stunning cooler shades like the cobalt blue and the purple and the pink, and then you also have those warmer, richer tones like coppers, golds, mustardy yellow. You have warm brown. So I feel like there are just endless looks and combinations that you can make with a palette like this. You could do something more colorful and deep and smoky, or you could go light and neutral. And while a lot of Nabla's palettes are more light and ethereal when it comes to the colors, this palette is a little bit more sultry and deep overall, making it so perfect for fall. Not to mention Nabla's formula is absolutely incredible. So if you haven't tried out Nabla's formula yet, I definitely would highly recommend it. Alright guys, so those are my top 10 fall palettes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps me out when it comes to the algorithm. Also, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. That helps me out as well, but I also just love chatting with you guys and hearing your thoughts on all of these palettes. So I would really love hearing what your favorite fall palettes are. Also, if you enjoyed this video but you're not subscribed to my channel yet, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button right here in the corner of your screen, and that way you won't miss any future videos. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as always, and I will see you in my next one. Take care guys. Bye.